we are conditioned to seek validation from the external environment. And this starts as early as young childhood. Because I'm sure all of us have had an experience where we make other people proud of what we have done. And that's not to say that you can't do something to make your loved ones proud of you. Absolutely. But why aren't we ever asked, are we proud of ourselves?
Welcome to the Sum of Everything podcast, where we discuss a little bit of a lot of topics, ranging from spirituality to finance and everything in between. I'm your host Aishwarya, a serial hobbyist with an unquenchable thirst for learning, especially through new experiences. In this podcast, we will scratch every itch of curiosity, explore various perspectives, step out of our comfort zone, and experience some of everything. Because after all, we are just that, a sum of all our experiences. So, let's dive right in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Sum of Everything podcast. If you think that my voice sounds a little different in today's episode, you are correct. I am in the middle of a violent cold, and I am trying to get this episode recorded and out in record time, despite being sick, mainly because I am trying to keep a promise to myself, one that I had made in the beginning of the year, somewhat like a New Year's resolution. My resolution was to be consistent with whatever I had taken up. And although that has not really worked out for me in other areas of my life, going to the gym, for instance, I am trying to maintain some form of consistency with some of everything because it's a promise that I had made to myself and I want to keep it. And well, this is one form of self-love. And that is precisely what the topic of today's episode is going to be. Self-love. Now, I know that there are many, 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 many different creators out there and many, many resources out there that are going to tell you all the different things that you can do in the form of self-love. And lots of people, I'm sure, will tell you you should give yourself a break, go on a holiday, travel, pamper yourself, take yourself out, treat yourself to a good meal, a massage. The list is endless. In fact, you probably know how to pamper yourself better than anyone else can tell you, even if it is just curling up with a good book on a rainy day. And the thing is, I'm not here to add to that list. I know that it is infinite. But what I am going to do here is bring to you my take on self-love. Now, I know that self-love is an extremely complicated concept with many different dimensions that a 15-minute podcast episode is going to do no justice to. So what I will delve into here is just one small aspect of self-love. And this is something that is coming after reflection over several years in my own self-love journey. Traditionally, what one would consider self-love is, well, very simply put, giving yourself the love that you deserve. One that potentially breaks decades and probably generations and eons of conditioning sometimes and leads to the end of generational trauma sometimes. Largely because this is conditioning that is built into the DNA of people and it is passed down through generations. That's why the name generational trauma. An example of this could be, and this is a trigger warning, not liking the way you look. Because society tells you that there is a certain ideal body type. That could be skinnier than what you are, heavier than what you are, more curvaceous, or it could be a certain way of behaving. It could be, for instance, not emoting because emotions are considered weak and non-masculine, quote unquote. Funnily though, these days, not emoting and not showing emotions is considered one sign of weakness, at least among the more mature section of society, because we know now that showing emotions is healthy. Not showing emotions means you are suppressing them, and those emotions are going to come out in other potentially more toxic ways. But anyway, overcoming this sort of criticism that the society throws at you for just deigning to be a little bit different and having the audacity to step away from what the society deems fit is definitely one form of self-love, because you are displaying immense courage by simply choosing to walk the path less trodden. And it's not easy to do. By no means is it a simple task. But what leads to this? What leads to this path-breaking, trailblazing sense of courage that comes when you decide that you are going to be different? Well, in my opinion, it comes from taking accountability for being stuck in a situation that you don't want to be in, for taking responsibility for the choice that you are making to be in what I would call an uncomfortable situation. Now, of course, this is not to say that everybody can just will their way out of difficult times. No. But I am talking about situations where you have the ability to zoom out and see what is it that you are doing, or rather, what is it that you are not doing that is keeping you in the same place that you are not happy about. For example, I was talking to a friend who happened to be stuck in a pattern, a loop that was causing them great anxiety, and they were unable to move on from a particular situation. They kept wondering and they kept worrying why it was that they were stuck in this loop, why it was bothering them so much, and why life was being so unfair to them. And it was really painful to see them in such despair, because they happened to be someone very, very close to me, and I hated seeing them suffer. So the only thing is, I could see from a strictly third person's perspective, I could see that there were actions that they could take to extricate themselves from their situation, if only they did something about it, if only they took responsibility for their own actions. And when I brought this up in conversation, they realized that the biggest reason that they weren't taking action in a certain direction that would almost immediately extricate them from the situation was because of their decades of conditioning that had taught them to please others and put others first. Now, this is hardly surprising, right? I'm sure most of us have at some point been told that it is important to not be a nuisance to others. We are constantly taught not to inconvenience other people. We are told over and over again that we must make things as comfortable as possible for others. And this sort of becomes so intrinsically inbuilt into our DNA that we forget that we are important as well. Pleasing other people becomes the priority, and satisfying our basic needs becomes secondary. Making other people happy becomes the priority. And a lot of times that comes at the cost of our despair and our suffering. Sometimes it doesn't have to go as far as despair and suffering. Sometimes it's just inconvenience. But that mild inconvenience could lead to something major, because that is what we're taught to do from a very young age. Put others first. And we are conditioned to seek validation from the external environment. And this starts as early as young childhood. Because I'm sure all of us have had an experience where we make other people proud of what we have done. We've colored within the lines, for example, and our parents, our grandparents, our aunts and uncles are very proud of us. Our stage performance, whether we like it or not, a piano recital that we are told to do, whether we actually enjoy performing on stage or not, but other people are proud. And that's not to say that you can't do something to make your loved ones proud of you. Absolutely. But why aren't we ever asked, are we proud of ourselves? Have you, as children, ever been asked, are you proud of your performance? Are you proud that you colored within the lines? And if you have, what is the proportion of I am proud of you versus are you proud of yourself that you've had in your life? It becomes a performance. We're taught from a very young age to cater to our audience. And that audience is the people who give us our validation, which is why, as adults, we become so fixated on external validation that we can't seem to digest the fact that, well, everyone is not going to give you validation all the time. Sometimes you just have to validate yourself. We can't keep seeking approval from the outside, because either the approval that we get is going to make us miserable, or we're going to be doing something that we love that the external world absolutely despises. And when we do that, when we do the latter, we get labeled selfish, self-centered, inconsiderate, lazy. I have a different word for all of this. It's called differently prioritized. Because I've chosen to prioritize myself and not the person in front of me. It's as simple as that. Prioritizing others less means you prioritize yourself more. And that is crucial for self-love. This also, by no means, is an easy task. It is difficult even for the strongest soldier out there. But the best part is nobody expects you to do this overnight. Nobody expects you to love yourself overnight. In fact, the world around you would prosper by you hating yourself. That's when they can make money out of you. That's when they can sell you a lot of things. That's how capitalism functions. By telling you you're not good enough. We are so susceptible to other people telling us that we're not good enough, that we pander and grovel and cater to every need of the person whose approval we most seek, only to find out that either that approval is never coming, or if it comes at the cost of us having completely sacrificed our own happiness in the process. This is something that took me about 3 years to realize. And incidentally, what helped me was music by BTS, the K-pop band. They have a brilliant trilogy where they discuss various themes involving love for another person, the heartbreak that comes with throwing yourself into pleasing others, and coming to the bittersweet realization that at the end of the day, I'm the one I should love. I would highly recommend checking out their Love Yourself trilogy. It is a fantastic album with some brilliant music. But anyway, coming back, this journey towards self-love is by no means easy because it involves the Herculean task of convincing yourself that you matter. It is difficult, but it's not impossible. And every difficult journey starts with a first step. That first step could look different for different people. For some, it could look like finally getting a number of a therapist and speaking to one. For some, it could be having a difficult conversation with a partner, with the boss, But sometimes it's something as simple as complimenting yourself. Looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself that you look amazing today. And in reality, you could look like a complete mess. Disheveled hair, clothes that are torn, it doesn't matter. You just look at yourself in the mirror, look into the eyes of the person staring back at you, and find that inner child that needs to be told that they're loved, that they're supported, that they look awesome today. I did it. I did it every day, even though I didn't believe it, until one day I started believing it, and the compliments to myself when I looked in the mirror became almost unconscious. Wow, you look great today. Wow, that hair is so fantastically set. Damn, that smile could brighten up a room. Tell yourself that. In fact, this is a great exercise. Stand in front of the mirror and compliment yourself on one physical aspect that you like about yourself. Could be anything. Eyes, nose, hair, jawline, body, muscles, fingertips, nails, your crooked teeth. It doesn't matter. Anything. Whatever it is that you like about yourself, and really mean it, because what you're doing is you're not complimenting the person staring back at you, or rather the 20, 30, 40, 50-year-old version that is staring back at you. You are complimenting that 10-year-old child in you, that they look amazing. And then the next task will be to talk about one hurdle that you have overcome that you are extremely proud of. It could be something basic. It could be something that nobody knows. Something that you chose not to share with anybody. Did you complete a 1,000-day streak on Duolingo? Did you decide that you would go walking every morning and you've stuck to it for a week? Did you complete an assignment at school or work that was particularly challenging and are absolutely amazed by how well you did? Compliment yourself. Tell yourself that was incredible. And tell yourself that you're proud of the hard work that you put in, the dedication and the determination with which you stuck to it. And you completed it. Compliment the effort, not the outcome. And that's a rule that we can apply universally. Compliment the effort that has gone into it. A person always likes hearing that the outfit that they've put together is amazing, as opposed to how beautiful their natural facial features are. It's because they've put in the effort. And the more you do it, the more often you do it, and the more consistently you do it, the more it will become natural. And you won't even realize the small changes that are taking place, the small boost in confidence that you get. You'll start walking straighter. When you walk into a room, the aura will be different. You'll be a much more confident person because you will be somebody who likes yourself. Of course, this comes necessarily with the acceptance that there are flaws in you. You might want to work on those flaws, or you might be happy with the way those flaws exist in you. The bottom line is, everyone has flaws, and we, in our journey of self-love, have to accept our flaws. We have to see ourselves for who we are. But while that involves identifying the bad, it most certainly starts with celebrating the good. So go out there and be proud of who you are. You are going to be your longest companion. It's high time you became your own friend. And that is the episode. I hope you liked it, and I hope you find new, better ways to love yourself. If there's any specific things you've done in this quest of self-love, do let me know. Write to me either on Instagram DMs or leave comments below. I'd love to know what you guys think. Oh, and if you did write letters to yourself from the last episode, do let me know. I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye and have a lovely week.